into it, let's get back on schedule, and I'll ask the runners if they're both good to go. So I'll just drop into their group at the moment, and I'll just check with them.
Are we supposed to do the countdown ourselves, or?
We are going to do the countdown in the text, but we can speak it just to get a little bit of immersion.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as we get the go ahead, we'll get counting down. All right. Bluegh is locked in with a yes. Just waiting on Jazz. Just waiting on Jazz. See a lot of people in chat. I hope everybody's been enjoying the tournament so far. I certainly have. This is actually the first lower pools match outside of Group F, I believe. So exciting to see how this entire group unfolds. We've got a lot of interesting competitors here. We have Jazz confirming that she is ready to go. So I will start the countdown. Yarasu, if you would like to do it audibly. So here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right.
And we should be able to see both of our runners hopping into this story soon.
Should be right
There
in.
you go.
It looks like they're both underway. All right then. So here we are. Group E kicking off. JazzSpeedruns versus Bluegh 1. Yarasu, what are your thoughts on how this is going to play out?
I think I do be thinking. I think Jazz can be the favorite here, as she has been running the game for a very long time now. I think, as opposed to Bluegh.
Yeah. Jazz with a lot more experience than Bluegh. But Bluegh, of course, shooting up the boards in terms of how short it's been since she actually started playing the game. There really isn't a lot to separate these two, in any sense, really, whether it's boards, whether it's performance. I think we're going to see some good stuff here. So Bluegh actually hitting the jump there for C-skip, not landing it, though. Jazz, will we see her pull it off? No, we will not. Once again, it looks like we've got a race on our hands where neither runner is going to be hitting that C-skip. It seems to be happening quite frequently in this tournament. I think we all need to get
this
our...
trick do be doing stuff like that sometimes. It's very
I think we all need
understandable.
to
It
get
can be very
our
hard to
practice
get in a
scores
race.
on and just get into C for a little bit. Let's all just work on C-skip. But, of course, it's so volatile. It's so funny when it comes down to it. Bluegh there, struggling a little bit in the loop. Narrowly ahead of Jazz, though. Looks like we've got a pretty even skipless CE so far. Bluegh now coming into the rail section. Followed up just behind by Jazz.
The truck section definitely can still be a huge game changer.
Yeah, it's probably one of those sections where, again, you're not going to lose a huge amount of time, but it's another one of those things where things can just go wrong, and that can be so unfortunate for runners. But not for Bluegh so far, and I don't think Jazz either. Both looking very clean coming down these hills as they come into the final stretch of City Escape. Looking practically neck and neck, I gotta be honest.
Both of them are
Bluegh
getting...
there finishing with a 204, and Jazz not far behind with a 208.
Did Jazz restart at some point? Oh no, it was the pause buffer for C skip. Never mind.
Yeah, that's going to be what caused that. Bluegh, I think, actually did also pause buffer. I think Jazz just waited a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's now entering Bigfoot. A great start here. With waiting in this cutscene. You get to see it play out in twice. So, let's see how this goes. I have a feeling with the caliber of these runners, they're both going to go for front box strats. Bluegh getting the first hit there, opting for the somersault jumps. Jazz will also go for the somersault jump approach. Looking very clean here. We got like a little bit of sync almost going on. Jazz just narrowly behind, landing that hit. Both runners with very, very nice times there. Only split by 0.15 seconds on the IGT timer. And we leave Bigfoot no different than we did City Escape. And now here we go. This is where we're going to start to see some variation. Bluegh opting to take over the head. Jazz going for Statue of Scary Eyes there instead. North Canyon Track Piece 2 for Bluegh. Behind a face for Jazz. Both with similar routes as to where they're going to have to get these sets. Up top and then back down below. Four Whirling Eyes for Bluegh and orbiting above the face for Jazz. Opting... I don't think I saw her go for any free-piece checks over there. Could have seen it if she did. Bluegh exits slightly faster, although no, actually, I don't think she does. I think Jazz actually saves a bit of time there. What a race this is. Wow. Yeah.
You know it's gonna be a good race when the first LNG stage is this close.
Practically tied, yeah. Well, did I say that we were going to see a bit of variation there? Apparently not. Now we're coming on into Prison Island, so... This is probably not going to see a lot of variation. I'm not expecting to see any crazy stuff happening in Eggman 1. Both runners... Oh, look at that! Bluegh opting to jump over the shot from Eggman. That actually did cost her a little bit of time there. Jazz does, in fact, close the gap. It's now only 1 second, and we're actually, I believe... It's going to be interesting. When's this level fade out?
Very close, actually.
We
wow.
are in almost perfect sync. This is... Wow.
Flub, you weren't supposed to... You weren't supposed to freeze one of them to catch up. Wow.
Flub, there's 2 Blueghs playing, or is it 2 Jazzes? I don't know. Well, this is great. I'm fully enjoying this. Coming up on this jump here. Nicely done by both. Wow, this is like watching... I'm blown away. I got nothing to say.
This is like watching synchronous swimming.
It's true. I'm sure Bluegh and Jazz will be collecting their gold medals for their synchronized hero story runs. There's an Olympic event. Getting onto the elevator as well, almost neck and neck. Wow. Here
This
we
is so
go.
weird to look at. This never happens.
No, yeah, I'm really interested to see. I mean, how long can this keep up for? Obviously, I don't know if there's going to be anything that Jazz will go for that Bluegh does not, or vice versa. So, it's all going to come down to just how things play out from here, really. Bluegh just narrowly ahead still, I do believe. Yes, in fact, she is. So, just gradually clawing her way ahead. Only narrowly, but falling down, and now... But Jazz also taking a hit. That's unfortunate from Bluegh. Jazz does pull ahead. The sync is gone, unfortunately. It's been thrown out the window. Jazz narrowly ahead now. Why are we watching the same run twice, indeed? But Jazz coming up now to the end of Prison Lane. Gonna see just how well she does. Looks like she's gonna be finishing up around about
here.
a 1:45 on the clock for Jazz. Bluegh is not gonna be narrowly far behind. Is gonna be narrowly far behind, rather. Narrowly behind. I can speak words. But yeah, there you go. So, 5:02 on the clock out of Prison Lane for Bluegh and 4:58 for Jazz. So, the lead switches hands from Bluegh to Jazz for the first time in this race, I believe.
Bluegh getting a C rank instead of a D rank, though. Very big game changer here. Not really.
Indeed,
not
yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Jazz lands underloop. Will Bluegh do the same? Bluegh opting for her preferred method of underloop. I've seen her do this a few times over the course of her runs. It does work, it does the job, and if it's more consistent for the runner, then by all means. Jazz there, missing the upgrade, almost flying all the way off, but getting a 21 nonetheless. Bluegh also with a 20, slightly earlier into that light speed shoes upgrade. Good to see her. And now, coming up towards the pulley section, are we going to see any interesting choices from the runners here? Jazz opting not to go for pulley skip, instead going for the standard jump through the loop. I don't believe Bluegh will do anything different either. We are seeing 2 very, very evenly matched runners here in terms of strategy, in terms of execution. Coming up on missile skip now. Which Jazz lands perfectly. Bluegh will not do the same, unfortunately. Needs to get it second try. She does so. Jazz just narrowly stretching that lead ever so slightly. Coming up towards the end of Metal Harbor. Let's see now, Jazz does cleanly land that jump over to the goal ring, finishing with a 128 on the clock. Bluegh is not going to be far behind. Nice early jump there from Bluegh. Some interesting strats from her in Metal Harbor there. It's not a big amount of difference there, even again. You know, 129 compared to what I believe was a 128, was it, from Jazz? Yeah, 128 from Jazz. This has got to be the closest race of the tournament so far, surely. Certainly at this phase.
I don't know. We've been having quite a few close races, like by first, I believe.
Yeah, indeed. There's certainly been a lot of tight finishes, but in terms of just for such a synchronized start to the race, this has been fantastic. Looks like we've got Prophet in chat clarifying it's not quite the closest, but it is indeed very close. Ooh, Jazz there not getting the hit that she would have wanted on Shadow 2 to finish it off, but does come out with a 12. Bluegh with a 13. Jazz again just narrowly, gradually stretching that lead. And now we go into Green Forest. So, the only problem with such a synced up race is that we're seeing a lot of cutscenes, which doesn't give us a lot to talk about outside of blows up. And Shadow here, who's actually not going to run off screen. He actually stops. There you go. See?
Wait, blows up?
Blows
There's
up.
no way. Don't blow
No,
up.
check it out. Watch this. Here he goes. And stop. Here we go. Back to the gameplay. Jazz enters Green Forest now. I'm not quite aware of what strategy she opts to go for in this stage. I don't know if Jazz is one to go for Wall Run or Air Yeezy or any of the skips. Not landing on the rail there, losing a little bit of time. What will Bluegh opt for here? Doesn't opt to go for the spin dash to get Air Yeezy. Instead, just opting for normal storage strats here. Looking to gain some ground on Jazz. Jazz comes up to this spin dash jump here to skip this loop. Will she get mini wall run? She does not, unfortunately for her. Does Bluegh, we're going to see. Does indeed, or just barely messes it up.
Early.
That's unfortunate from Bluegh. But we're seeing these runners again pretty frame tied now in terms of how much there is to separate them. Coming up on wall run now, we're going to see either runner go for it. Looks like Jazz will. Will she land it?
And
it looks like she does.
Oh.
She's up the wall. Oh.
And she's getting Vertex. No,
That's
Green Forest. You are not allowed to do
unfortunate.
that. Wait, you are. They are not. They are not synchronized again.
There we go. The sync is back indeed. It's looking like no matter what happens, you can go for all the wall runs, you can go for the Air Yeezys, all you want. Get the good RNG. Doesn't matter. These races are gonna be in sync, I'm telling you, for the rest of this race. Well, it looks like Bluegh is actually narrowly ahead now. Jazz really unlucky with that Vertex on the wall run. Very, very unfortunate. It's difficult enough to get that jump off with the loop speed. So it's just unfortunate that she missed out on getting the full skip. Bluegh finishing Green Forest in the lead, 8:24.25 on the clock. Jazz now back in second place here by 4 seconds, 8:28.88. A nice number there, a lot of 8s. Looks like Prophet is telling us that this is in fact the closest race out of Green Forest so far. So that is very, very cool to see. We saw similar Pumpkin Hills, or rather we saw similar Wild Canyons at the start of the run. Will we see similar Pumpkin Hills?
Imagine if they just get the same set.
Well, the odds are 1 in 1,024. Second skull from the top. That is not the same set. The dream
there goes
is
my
out
hopes.
of... There's still 3 stages to go. It could happen. Scarecrow House there, Piece 2 for Bluegh. Jazz coming over to Pumpkins who don't get along, both with Pumpkin Mountain Piece 2s. Looking like Jazz is opting for this rocket rather than the lower one. And now Bearded Mountain Piece 3 for Bluegh. You do something bad, this might happen for Jazz. We might be seeing another close finish here. Jazz does
50-50
get
and
the...
getting it.
She gets the one she wants, and there we go! Oh my goodness me!
There's no way.
I mean, you have to you have to sort of rub your eyes a little bit because this is incredible. Well, what are we into now? Mission Street? Here we go.
Well, I guess it was a good call from you to call this race to be even.
Yeah,
Even
when
before
I
we
said
start.
evenly matched, I didn't think I meant this much. This is quite something. Well, maybe we'll see a bit of desync based on how long these runners opt to wait in the upgrade for. We'll see what happens here.
This is so cool.
This is awesome. I think this may be my favorite race of the tournament so far, and I'm not even saying that just because I'm on comms. We're gonna see now. And they exit practically on the same frame!
Oh no! Oh, there goes
Bluegh.
the sync. There goes the sync.
Misses weight hop, unfortunately. The sync was in full flow. That's unfortunate. Just gonna have to see how well she can catch up now. I think we were synced from the end of Green Forest up to that point. I really do.
There was a possibility, however, that either Bluegh or Jazz was watching the stream when they were in the Mission Street upgrade cutscene and chose to like leave early or something.
Looks like
Just
Jazz
for
is
the
on
thing.
good pace here. Will we see a zero cycle from Jazz? Bluegh struggling with the crate hop there. Unfortunate for her. Jazz there with a nice little hop there. Extra hop. Opting for the late crate break rather than the early snipe. Oh no! Oh my word!
No!
Oh no for Jazz! And there we go, well!
Not even
Bluegh back
taking
in
the
front.
walk
Oh,
of shame! No!
Oh no!
What is happening?
Shame, shame, shame.
Hey,
Mission
you are not
Street.
allowed to do that unless you are synced by the end of Mission Street. No.
Wow. Well, I mean, that'll kick both runners.
No! Wow!
It's-
This was so scary again for Jazz. She basically bonked on the barrier at the... Oh, and...
Oh no, Jazz also with Walk of Shame! Goodness me!
This is so tragic.
Well, I mean, I don't think either runner is going to feel amazing about how they've done in this stage, but it is still very close. But Bluegh with the lead firmly now. I should say, actually, Bluegh just cruising ahead, actually, I should say. That death for Jazz really did hurt. Oh no.
This is an incredible race so far. Wow.
I think it's safe to say that the sync is gone. Unfortunately.
It is, yeah. But I mean,
Could come
so
back,
much
though.
things happened already and we are only in Mission Street.
What will happen in Aquatic Mine? Will the universe pull these two back together? Or should I say the 1024? But Bluegh there, finishing with a 244 mission streak. That's not what she would have wanted, but I don't think she's going to realize that that is exactly what she's coming out with in terms of a lead here, because that's just, this entire stage is just a number on Jazz, unfortunately. Knocks her behind by about 22 seconds there. Unfortunate for Jazz. Actually, with a better time on the clock. In terms of IGT, if only that were how we were timed. But here we go. No free pieces or pings on the first two resets in Aquatic Mine for Bluegh there. But getting the ping here now. What will this piece be? It looks like it might be Guardian of the Switch. It is indeed. Nice piece to get. Wooden box on the Steel Beam Ghost Room now. Gonna check Jazz to see if she gets any free pieces. I didn't spot any there.
Getting a green ping first try though.
Yes,
Still
good
in
to
the
see. That is.
124.
It's gonna close the gap on Bluegh rather. Dented ceiling. for
Oh,
Bluegh.
and she got a free piece. We couldn't see it on stream.
Interesting. Very interesting. Bluegh now making her way over to dented ceiling piece 3, which she does get 1232. So remaining in front against Jazz, who is now racing to collect in front of a mysterious door piece 3, not one of the preferred ones to get.
This is perfect.
And oh dear, what's going on here? Trying to pause buffer the jump here, I think. Gets it, but that's interesting. I've never seen anybody do that before.
Yeah, that happens. A lot of people just prefer doing pause buffer
Interesting.
glide.
Well, Jazz remains behind by a larger amount now, unfortunately. Bluegh starting to pull in front. We're going to see how she takes this in her stride, whether she carries through into Desert here. But yeah, we're going to see both runners just hanging out in Route 101 for now, so it's always a good time to just sort of stop and consider how do you think this race has been going so far, Yarasu? I think there's one word in particular.
You already know it, but I think this is a very incredible race so far. Like, I already said it, but so many things happened already. This is incredible, and it's still very close. In fact, both our runners are still able to catch up on the other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, we're not even into the most sort of dangerous part of the game yet, I would say. You know, we've had these twists and turns, we've had these back and forths, and we've had this incredible sync-up, but, you know, we're coming up on Desert and Space, so there's so many things just in here, which, again, could either swing the tide in Jazz's favor or push Bluegh closer to a victory here in the opening game of Group E.
Yeah, basically
really
every
interesting
stage
to
of the desert section can be very big in terms of closing or stretching the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bluegh coming up into the final stretch or so of Route 101 now. Looking pretty good for Bluegh. No real mistakes to speak of here. I don't believe there's been any errors on Jazz's end either. It's another one of those stages where there isn't a massive amount to say outside of ring route and potential errors, but gradually we're going to see both of our contestants here just cruising their way down the highway.
Yeah, you can lose like a little bit of time on Route 101, but nothing too big.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think worst case scenario, you hit Melon Skip, which Bluegh thankfully does not.
Don't say this word.
Do you think I'm gonna curse? Do you think Jazz is in for it now? As we come towards the end?
It won't happen.
Bluegh just going very close to the side of the road there. Not my recommended element of, or method of driving, rather.
Just flexing on the president right now.
Just flexing on the president. Indeed. Does that president's car turn into a plane? I don't think so. Jazz, fortunately, does not hit Melon Skip. I believe there's been a bit of debate recently in terms of potentially changing the name to Mikey Cool Money Skip.
There was indeed.
I'd be interested in hearing what the thoughts of the community may be towards this potential suggestion. But we're seeing Bluegh now entering Hidden Base, coming up to the pole hop section on good pace. Doesn't look like she's going to opt to go for it. She opted for the IL jump there, actually. Very interesting. Instead now, going for GC skip.
And
Will she go for one
GC
corner?
skip.
She does not. In fact, going for the more routine and faster method of GC skip there. Unfortunately, no pole hop, but GC skip is not a bad alternative. We're going to see how Jazz does here as well. Looking like...
And missing the jump, so might be not able to catch the cycle for the pole hop. Will it choose to go for it?
She landed on top of the pole, but I think it was going to be too late either, so probably a blessing in disguise there for Jazz that she didn't go for that jump. I think it was going to be too late on the cycle. But Jazz...
No, this was so close.
Oh, well, it may have been a blessing in disguise originally, but it's turned into disaster now as she takes a death there, knocking her further behind. Back to the start of Hidden Base. Bluegh is stretching out the lead here. This is good to see from Bluegh, you know?
And Jazz missing the pole hop again, and getting vertexed by this wall. I didn't even know this was possible.
Fortunate camera troubles for Jazz.
Wow.
But I gotta give a lot of credit to Bluegh here. You know, this is Bluegh's first time competing in a tournament, and she's putting together a really nice run so far. I really do think so. If you ignore the weight hop, this has been fantastic. Of course, CE skip as well, but I think we have to count out CE skip in situations like this.
You can't really count CE skip.
But in terms of just a race, in terms of how she's performing, fantastic in my opinion. And Jazz not doing bad either, you know? It's one of those ones where the only mistakes have been misfortune, really, I think, for Jazz. But don't worry, it is far from over. Still got a long way to go just yet. As Bluegh exits out of Pyramid Cave. Hidden Base, though, over 154. 16:47 on the clock. Jazz looking to catch up, making up the ground now, coming towards the final stretch of this stage. Going to be interesting to see how things play out in Pyramid Cave. Now, I will say, Bluegh is a close friend of mine, and will often chastise me for my ability at snake skips, so it's going to be interesting to see if she can put her money where her mouth is here. What's
You
she gonna
seem
do
to
when
be
she
really
gets to this
hoping she doesn't get the skip.
No, not
Nah.
at all. This is, I wish nothing but the best, but I just want to see if it's more than just talk, if it is as easy as she says. Jazz coming out of Hidden Base there over 153, slightly more than that on account of her death. Unfortunate for her, but 17:44 on the clock. It's not over yet. It's not over for Jazz. Bluegh opting for the backup strat there for first door clip, missing bounce onto the rail.
Oh.
Unfortunate. Gonna hopefully see some better luck from Bluegh for her sake. Interesting. They're sticking and receiving a hug from the Boo.
I wonder what happened here.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Coming up on second door skip now. Hopefully Pyramid Cave starts to show a little bit more of a rubber green. First
try, second door skip. Let's
getting
go.
through there. Yeah, not the cat boo we wanted there for Bluegh. And, well, here we go. Now it's the time to see. How's Bluegh gonna pull this off? Jazz actually coming up here looking quite clean with a 30 upgrade. That's very nice. Good stuff in Pyramid Cave so far from Jazz. Looking like Bluegh is aiming for the snake skip now. And does not land it.
Bluegh, you're so
Unfortunate.
gonna be memed for this. I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate, and she opts not to take a second shot at it. That's understandable in the setting of a race. She's still ahead, still looking very strong here. Jazz coming up on the snake skip section now, cruising away through second tunnel. Both runners starting to look a little closer here as we come towards the end of Pyramid Cave. Jazz looking to line up snake skip here, or possibly something else. No, it will be snake skip, but Jazz
and
also
the
failing snake skip. I guess it's not as easy as it seems. But here we go. Coming towards the end now. 2:02.
And no!
Jazz with another
wow!
Death. Well,
what the hell
fortunately that
here?
wasn't so far after a checkpoint, so that's not going to knock her back too badly. But Jazz is locked into hitting this snake skip now. That should be perfectly fine. Enough height on that one, and Jazz coming up towards the end of the final section now. Just needs to ride out Pyramid Cave, stay within touching distance of Bluegh. Will she land the super bounce here and get the final gravity bounce? Interesting to see. A nice piece one there.
Very nice piece one for Bluegh. That should be able to go for death strat with this piece.
Correct. Any blue room piece one, which long vertical white line is in fact, is a good piece to get in story mode, just due to the nature of how we play the stage. Bluegh gliding over towards this piece now, and then we'll lock the death strat. 5 lives in the tank. So we should be seeing a pretty comfortable red room piece 2 here for Bluegh as a result of these death strats. Now in comes Jazz. We're going to be interested to see what she ends up with. No free pieces there. Yellow and black stripes with no green ping. Unfortunate for Jazz. Is she going to stick with it? She is not. She opts for the reset. Bluegh not getting the ping here. This is unfortunate, but Bugs on Patrol.
Bugs on Patrol.
Coming in clutch for Bluegh 1 there. And now we just need to see that last piece there. Fill in the puzzle. And Bluegh should be able to carry it over the line.
And getting it at this there's that speaking this out.
With the last piece, the last death strap, we get a very nice death chamber from Bluegh. Exiting out with 19:54 on the clock. Bugs on Patrol. It shows up when you need it most, I say. Jazz gets her piece 1 now, opting for the green room death strap, but with 0 lives, this is going to be a tough ask for Jazz in death chamber, having to go all the way over to blue room now, with little to no choice, just due to the number of lives. Interesting, though. Very, very interesting. Bluegh with a big opportunity now to pull ahead, going into the desert bosses, Boom Boo and Golem. As we see Jazz just trying to make up ground, getting that piece 2 now, opting for cap boost here. Gonna try and set this up nicely as Bluegh. She does get the boost.
Getting it, let's go.
Very nice.
Again, a
King Boom
huge
Boom
victory
capture
for
setup.
Blue.
And now here comes Jazz going towards her final piece now. It's been a really unfortunate death chain before Jazz here, I have to say. Bluegh, though, landing the first hit and the second, nice and clean. And the third, just needs the fourth, and she is sitting comfortably now. Very nice King Boom Boom execution there from Bluegh. She'll cruise into Egg Golem now. With a very, very firm lead. Very, very good stuff. Gonna see... Oh, she's exiting out 4 lives there. Interesting choice to do that in Golem. But understandable, considering that... Oh, also resetting there for another attempt at that first profit bounce, which she does get now at the 3rd time of asking. Interesting to see. Oh no, for Jazz, that's not good.
Oh no,
Jazz
I
opted
didn't
for the
see.
Boom Boom bait,
Oh.
but with 0 lives. This won't affect her RTA quite as badly as it may seem. Or rather, it will only affect her RTA so negatively, but that's really, really unfortunate. Because that means she's having to watch the cutscene again. Well, she does have the lives now, but... it goes from bad to worse for Jazz.
It kept getting harder and harder for Jazz to close.
Doesn't get cat boost either. Now Bluegh is into space.
Bluegh in space.
Here we go, Bluegh in space. So, coming up on everybody's favorite skip, Bofa. Gonna be interesting to see if first try Bofa is real today. Jazz now, coming up with these hits on Boom Boom. 1, 2, the third one is there, and just needs 1 more to finally get out of this
Wow.
horrible, horrible split. It's really
Very
been
respectable from
unfortunate.
Jazz here to being able to go for King Boom Boom when the boss wasn't running in the right direction or in the direction he goes by default.
Of course, yeah. It'll throw you off, but getting a super bounce there. Interesting to see. Doesn't get a second
almost.
one, unfortunately, but very nearly. Bluegh clips out with second try Bofa there. Plenty of lives in the bag as well for Bluegh. Coming up into the final stretch of the run now. Jazz trying to catch up. She's going to need some sort of drastic mistake from Bluegh. She's landing these super bounces very nicely. Unfortunately, Golem does not want to play ball.
Being able to clip all the way through a Golem's neck though.
Gets the shot, that gets the arm jump there. And Jazz is out of desert. It's a desert she's going to want to forget. It's not been kind to her one bit. Hopefully, for her sake, we're going to see a bit more, a bit of a recovery in space. But she also needs Bluegh to falter here a lot, coming up towards the goal ring in Eternal Engine. A mistake here from Bluegh could put it back at even odds if Bluegh is to miss the goal ring here. It looks like she's come a little far out, but no, there it is. We'll see just how this goes now. Going back in, and that should safely hit the goal ring. Carries Bluegh out of Eternal Engine. Looking very, very safe in terms of time difference as well. Jazz does not get first try Bofa.
This is so unfortunate. Her execution was fantastic so far.
I think she really needed that if she's going to have a chance here. Otherwise, at this point, we really are just relying on Bluegh making mistakes. Trying to line up the second attempt here, making the approach and breaking through. Second try Bofa for Jazz also. Just needs to glide over now as we see Bluegh entering Meteor Hood. Where 2 stone platforms are joined.
No ring, which can be pretty scary in a stage like Meteor Hood, where you can just be skewed by the game by
artificial chaos can be quite mean, such as here. Bluegh wants to get away from that as soon as possible. Gonna be interesting to see now, what do we get? Floating
stone above a moon.
Well,
no.
it's not quite enough. We may need a few more of those for Jazz to get back into this, but never like to see floating stone. Everyone's least favorite piece.
First piece of the game, I believe.
As Bluegh slowly climbs up now, getting that piece. And we're gonna see how her third piece plays into her hands. Jump from the star. Nice enough piece to get from the position she's in as Jazz comes towards the goal ring in Eternal Engine. Looking like she's fine enough there. Gets through. Nicely done from Jazz. Good to see. I don't think we would have wanted to see Jazz falter any further than she already has, so... Now we see. Will RNG be kind to Jazz as she enters into Meteor Herd, trying to catch up to Bluegh once again? And will Bluegh's luck continue, and performance as a whole? Will it continue into Meteor Herd? The Rouge fight, rather. And beyond that, Crazy Gadget Skip, which is, well, if Jazz has a chance, that's the stage that's going to decide it, in my opinion. Crazy Gadget is such a scary stage to be in this kind of environment, especially with that thought in the back of your mind that you could be ahead. Don't throw it out the window. Just play it safe. Just do what you can. Do what you know, and just get yourself over the finish line. But Bluegh looking like she's getting a clean Rouge fight here. Nice to see. Landing all 4 hits very cleanly. Jazz here making her way over to a piece 2. Very nice front
Rouge time for Bluegh.
And the third piece will be Circle the Rotating Beacon. So a nice set there for Jazz, actually. Around about a 40-second time.
Those 2 last pieces were interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Both middle pieces. So lower, middle, and middle. All pieces. Very nice RNG there from Jazz. And execution, too. As Bluegh falters there with the bounce down to the tube.
Oh, no. This is a very bad position to be in, but looks like she's gonna be able to break the glass without any trouble.
Looks like she gets through. Nicely done. Grabbing that extra life there to give another attempt at CGSS from the checkpoint if needs be. And she's gonna come up on it now. Struggling with the checkpoint there, but getting
checkpoint, lol.
Not sure why it is the way it is. It seems to be that one of all things, and it's the one that we as speedrunners need the most. Opting for the jump rather than box hover. Looks like
getting it first try.
Through! Fantastic stuff from Bluegh. Absolutely great.
And she looks good on the distance too.
Yeah, she's comfortably made this. Jazz now
first try. Let's fucking
Crazy Gadget. Jazz needs first try CGSS here, or Bluegh is in an absolutely fantastic position if she isn't already. If Jazz doesn't hit CGSS early here, then she's in big trouble. I mean, we started off this race with a fantastic show of synchronization. Is it too much for ask for it to come back? Maybe we see we see a little bit of mess up from Bluegh in Eggman 2, and Jazz hits that first try, and then we're with Frame Tide going into the final rush. I think that might be
for
quite
Jazz,
cool.
yeah.
For Jazz's sake, I hope so. For Bluegh's sake, she's not going to hope so. Interesting here. Jazz is going to go for bad cam, box hover.
And
get
dying.
Through, though. Unfortunate. And Bluegh
you don't get to see all CGSS bad cam.
No, you don't see it very
these
often
days.
nowadays, because it is, especially in races, it's so much safer to go for good cam and box hover. But Jazz determined to go for this here as Bluegh enters final rush. You know, I actually am not sure here, but if Bluegh gets this right... No, I forget. Bluegh has a 26 now. But this is going to be a very close to PB run in terms of, if you count out CE skip, of course. Jazz there does get Crazy Gadget skip. She's not out of it just yet. But it comes down to this for Bluegh. Final rush skip. This is going to be the decider. It's now or never for Jazz. If Bluegh does not mess this up, I can only see this going one way, and I think Bluegh is just going to get through over to the finish line now. Turning and making her approach towards the goal ring now. You're almost there, Bluegh. Very nearly as Jazz enters Dr. Eggman 2. Landing the hits. I'm not sure if she's gotten the manip here or not. Yes, she has indeed. A very nice Eggman 2 from Jazz. Fantastic stuff there. 15 flat. Great stuff. Coming up towards the goal ring now. Looks like Bluegh does have enough height. I think we're going to be okay here for Bluegh. Jazz entering final rush. Desperately hoping something goes wrong. But Bluegh is looking like she's almost there. She's almost at the finish line. And I think Bluegh 1 is going to be leaving the first match with a victory here, barring disaster. Jazz trying her best to catch up here, approaching final rush skip.
No problem.
She does get the bounce off, and she is locked in position now. The only hope for Jazz here is complete disaster by Bluegh. It really has been a great race, though. I think from start to finish, just so much to entertain. Both runners, as we said at the start. Oh, Jazz there! And that it might just be the nail in the coffin for JazzSpeedruns. That is unfortunate at this stage of the run. But Bluegh coming up on the finish line now. Just needs 2 more hits on Shadow. That's 1. And Bluegh 1 has done it. 27-20. Bluegh takes the victory.
Huge GG to Bluegh on this win.
Absolutely fantastic performance by both runners, but full hats off to Bluegh. That was a fantastic performance.
Sonic, I did.
That was a run that belonged in upper pools. Bluegh's PB, I believe, is a high 26. Looks like Jazz is struggling here in Final Rush. It's unfortunate to see, but
she's actually very close from her PB.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you throw CE skip into that, I'm pretty sure that does PB.
It's true. We didn't even have CE skip.
Yeah, this was fantastic. And was it a missed weight hop in prison in Mission Street as well? So yeah, brilliant run from Bluegh. That's that's an upper bracket time. That's better than anything I've pulled off so far in this tournament. So full credit. I'm hoping Jazz finishes sooner rather than later for her sake. We don't want to see Jazz finish this off with anything worse than what she deserves. She has put in a good performance, in my opinion. Just been very unfortunate in places.
Oh,
I'm interested by the
this
way
was a little
Jazz
fast for her, right?
I think she's okay. I think she's through the kill plane.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. This has been, I think this has been probably my favorite race of the tournament so far, this was completely entertaining from start to finish, from the sync to the twists.
Yeah, only for what happened at the start of the run. It was a very good and entertaining run to watch.
Yeah, looks like Jazz coming up to the end of Final Rush now. She should have enough height. Good to see Jazz getting over the finish line, despite all her misfortune. Full credit to Jazz. I don't think there's any shame in losing this race here. Bluegh and Jazz, again, both fantastically even runners, but Bluegh just comes out on top today.
Also, she can still get the sub 30 if nothing really wrong happens in Shadow too.
It's true, yeah. It's
everything I just saw for her.
Of course, in these lower pools groups, there's a lot more races than in upper pools, specifically 5, as opposed to 3 for the runners in upper pools. So time difference is important. Jazz is going to want to finish this as soon as she can. Coming up into Shadow 2 now. Good to see. Landing 1 hit, 2 hits, gets the 3rd cleanly. Very nice Shadow 2 actually, this. That's 4, and just needs 1 more. There we go. Jazz finishing with a 29.48. GG's to Jazz. Great performance from both runners. Very, very impressive all around. I think that we've got a lot more to come in terms of entertainment from this group. We've got a lot of fun matches coming up on the horizon. I'm fantastic stuff, yeah. This is the place to go if you want to see entertainment, people. Group E matches. Group G gaming.
Group G gaming. Group G gam.
Fantastic stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Matty and Vector. Smile.
Thank you very much, Fluff.
Stuff. I don't know if we've got enough time for any interviews, because we're going to have to squeeze on into the finish here and get into our next scheduled match, which is going to be Vector versus Matty in Group G, which will be commentated by Drumbasher and Stella. So yeah, stay tuned, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. I've been Tefts. Yarasu, if you'd like to sign off.
Yeah, this was my last commentary for the day, so thanks for having me on commentary.
You've done a fantastic job, man.
Thank you,
Absolutely
thank you.
Fantastic.
You did as well.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure as always to be with you. All right then. Thank you, everybody. We'll duly depart. In the meantime, have a great night and take care.
Take care, everyone.